Well, this is KMTV. We are here to cover a press conference that will be addressed by the COP. You see Harry Costa and also Representative Yeke Koluba. Miss Telia Yuri is also here. So in a moment for now, this press conference will start. Scores of journalists are also here to cover this news conference. 6 minutes to 8 o'clock. This news conference follows today's protest that started very peaceful, but later on the protesters were dispersed, or the crowd was dispersed by officers of the joint security apparatus in Liberia. And some of the footages on social media, including KMTV, show that some people sustaining minor injury, but we will shortly get words from officials of the Council of Patriots. What do they have to say? Are they going to continue tomorrow? Because that was the very first statement, that they will remain in the streets till President George Weah can listen to them, to address their plights, talking about the state of the economy, the reopening of Roots FM, and giving accreditation to Punch FM and TV, and of course several other issues outlined in their June 9 petition to President George Weah, the government of Liberia. So this is KMTV. My name is Emmanuel. Amos Kozawu is here. We also have Anthony Kokwe as a part of our team tonight.
That's okay, I got one. Thank you.
And we continue to bring you these news from Liberia, all geared toward shifting the destiny of our dear country. So those of you joining us from the diaspora, we'd like to say thank you so much for joining us.
It has light.
It's KMTV live from Montserrat County, where COP will shortly address a news conference. At the right you do see Representative Yeke Koluba.
We thank you for your presence. We're going to take the official response of the COP through the unprovoked violence from the Liberian government. The chairman of the COP, Mr. Henry Pedro Costa. Mr. Henry Pedro Costa will address the press, after which we will take questions. Henry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dumoy. Ms. Telia Yuri, Mr. Menepake Dumoy, and to my left is Honorable Yeke Koluba, whom you all know. We're here on a very traumatized circumstances. Before we begin to recount today's most successful peaceful protest, which unfortunately ended in violence provoked entirely by the government, we would first like to seize the moment to thank from the bottom of our hearts all of our supporters who turned out today, braving the threats meted out against them by the state, the threats of denial of security protection for them, and yet they came out in their thousands. We want to thank them all. I want to thank you, members of the Fourth Estate, for helping to beam those moments across the country for our people to watch. Now, under normal circumstances, we had anticipated that we would be having a press conference only to thank our people and to celebrate them for what they accomplished today. But unfortunately, our peaceful protest ended in an onslaught by the state. I just read a circular published by the United States Embassy in which it states that the government used water cannons and tear gas on demonstrators. That is a fact. That is what happened. Our people were peaceful until they were provoked and tear gassed, and several of them wounded, we've been told. At least 5 are in police custody. And for what? For what? Now, a most grave incident that happened today, or a few minutes ago, which we watched on TV. We saw a spectacle, a heinous violation of our laws, where 2 vehicles, a Toyota RAV4 and a Ford Explorer belonging to Honorable Yeke Koluba, that were parked at the scene of our peaceful protest, vehicles that he drove there himself, allowed into the premises by the police earlier in the day. Those vehicles, in fact, they searched all vehicles that entered the premises. My vehicle was searched. So I presume Honorable Koluba's vehicles were also searched. At that time, no weapons were found. Now, it's a very ridiculous spectacle because we watched the clearly incompetent Inspector General Police carrying out a search of Honorable Koluba's vehicle, an illegal search, I might add. Under our laws, and I'm sure all of you journalists are aware of that law, that only the courts can authorize a search of somebody's premises or their vehicle. The police cannot conduct a search without a search warrant, without court officers carrying out the search. There's something called inadmissibility. Any evidence obtained in such illegal manner or through an illegal search cannot be used in a court of competent jurisdiction. It is the same as if you recorded me without my consent, that evidence cannot be used in court. In fact, it is against the law to search someone's property without their consent and without a court order. And to top it all up, they claim that they found weapons, firearms in Honorable Koluba's vehicle. We want to state categorically, at no time did Honorable Yeke Koluba have any weapons in any of those 2 vehicles, a Toyota RAV4 and a Ford Explorer. At no time. There were tons of people in those vehicles today riding with him. The place where they cleaned the phone, the weapons, it is ridiculous that he could have put a weapon recklessly in open view in the vehicle. Because we watched the video as the police director was showing, this is a weapon. As if the weapon was lying on the floor of the vehicle. It was a complete joke. And I'm sure his boss, Musa Dean, who is a lawyer, knows that the police, they have blundered. We are calling on the Liberia National Police through the Ministry of Justice to, with immediate effect, issue an open apology to Honorable Yeke Koluba for illegally searching his vehicle without his approved prior consent and without a court order, or the COP will institute legal proceedings against the Liberia National Police. We want to make that categorically clear. Tomorrow, our lawyers have already been instructed. They are going to file an official complaint to the Liberia National Police. We have communicated with the UN resident coordinator. He is aware of the matter. He acknowledged himself that you cannot, under Liberian law, search someone's premises or their vehicle without a court order. Now, we leave that there because we know this is ridiculous. It's going nowhere. Now, the situation regarding our supporters. We gathered today Most of you, if not all of you, covered today's event. It was beautiful. Our people decided to cook. Again, we drove past the police with our pots, our coal pots, and our cooking utensils, including food. They witnessed everything. They were there when we brought bread and boxes of sausage to make sandwich for our people to eat while we were preparing to cook rice. You know, Liberian man and rice, right? They saw it all. But because they realized that the people were determined to stay out there in a continued peaceable manner, that is when they decided to use tear gas and water cannons against unarmed, innocent, peaceful civilians, arresting 5 of our people, including my own sister is among one of those people who was arrested, and wounding several of our people in the process. We just read Al Jazeera has already carried a story internationally. It's been reported how we were attacked today. We implore you all, we beseech you, as journalists and watchdogs of the society, to please report what happened today. You owe it to the Liberian people to be fair. Don't put a spin on it. Don't try to help us. Just report what you saw. We were peaceful and we were attacked all over the world. No sensible government would behave in the manner in which our government behaved today. We are witnessing the ugly head of dictatorship on the horizon. And all of us need to join hands together to rebuke it and send it back to where it's coming from. So the COP will have another press conference tomorrow after we will have all met with our members and we will address these issues, and we're having meetings with the international community. And on the issue of Honorable Yeke Koluba, I just told you, it is just another fruitless attempt to harass him. But it will go nowhere, because no court in this country can, by law, based on law, issue an arrest for Honorable Yeke Koluba on the premise that weapons were found in his vehicle as a result of an illegal search and seizure. That is the law. Again, before I start, for us to take a few questions, I want to say on behalf of the Council of Patriots, all of its officials and members here present, we thank our people from the bottom of our hearts for what they showed today. There were naysayers and skeptics and cynics that the people would not show up. The people came. They never let us down. They were prepared to do something never before done in the history of this country, to sleep out on the streets, to simply get answers from their president, who turned them away. Is it too much to ask the president to publish a report that he himself promised into the $25 million? Is it too much to ask our president to publish his assets so that we all see what he owns? Didn't Ellen, whom we all said was most corrupt, publish her assets? Is it wrong? What is so big about it? If he has nothing to hide, why can he publish his assets? Is it too much to say Samuel Twe and the lot are incompetent and need to be replaced? Is it too much to ask for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court? Is it too much to ask for a thorough investigation into the supposed infusion of the $16 billion into the Liberian economy, which caused this economic tailspin and the attending inflation and terrible suffering that we are all experiencing? Are these not the reasons we assembled today? Are these not issues all of you, each of you, discuss with your friends, your families, your loved ones? Was that our crime? Is that why we deserve to get tear gas and chased? Earlier, during the protest, 3 Sabu unit people were captured and turned over to the Liberian National Police. Did we beat them? We did not beat them. Did we kill them? We did not kill them. What does that say about us? They have weapons, machetes, they have guns. Oh, They're not talking. They now reported the guns. The real guns that they found from the Sabu unit. They are talking about guns that they planted in Honorable Koluba's vehicles. You all know, we want you to kindly report that. The Sabu unit were captured by us. If we were like them, you can imagine what they would have done to us had we been the ones captured with weapons, with the intent to cause harm to innocent, unarmed, peaceful protesters. My brothers and sisters, our country is in trouble. And I beseech you all, in the exercise of your journalistic duties, please rise to the occasion. Exercise patriotism in the discharge of your duties. I thank you all. We'll stop here and take a few questions.
Okay, so given the circumstances under which this press conference is being held, we'll take maximum 5 questions. Maximum.
Sorry.
Beginning with you, state your name, the institution you from.
Thank you. My name is Prince Moba, and I report for Frank FM.
Let's hear you.
My question to you, Mr. Costa, is many Nigerians might now be in a state of a confused mind. The reason being that you took the street on June 7 with similar path to the government. And in my mind, and in the minds of many Nigerians, your concerns that were raised on June 7 have been answered. In furtherance of that, you took the street today. Again, it did not peacefully end it. That resulted to the shooting of tear gas on your supporters and war. So, what clearly can you say to the Nigerian as it relates to the many challenges faced by them when it comes to the economy and all the things you are outlined? What is the message to them? Somebody listening to this night.
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. Fair question. As you rightly said, we protested on June 7th, peaceful, celebrated all over the world, commended by the international community, passed off in a peaceable fashion. Presented a petition, the president refused to act. When we went back today to enforce or demand action, and we were attacked. All I can say to the Liberian people, my friend, is that you need to stand with the COP. We need to stand together to demand answers from this president before it is too late. That is all I can say. We cannot and will not give up because we have no choice but to stay the course and keep fighting as we have been fighting for an accountable government and a better Liberia. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Lincoln Peters and I report for Smart FM. Mr. Costa, I have a concern and I followed the protest since this morning and the protest was very peaceful and decent. Something I'm much commend you for and I'm not going to commend you a protester for. But I want to know if you people, because you people receive an intelligence that the Liberian government was going to react to you people after you assembled at the back of the capital. And Honorable Biaka was consulting the protesters to be safer and not to retaliate back at them. And I want to know, did you ever got any information about the Liberian government that you should not cook at the back of the capital? That's one. And the two, the government of Liberia through its president has decided to address their concern in January in its annual measures. And now you say he should be able to come to the Liberian people and speak to you people. Don't you think if you come and address you people now, he will be eating it tomorrow in his today? Something would believe that will be letting an annual measure to be known to the people. Then what's the essence of the January annual measure you did today?
Thank you. The president's annual message is not meant to address protest concerns or grievances of Liberian citizens. It's meant to report to the country what transpired in the course of the last year. That's the purpose of the annual message. So it is not an appropriate platform to cite that he will use to address our concerns. It is not. The other issue that you asked about the intelligence, we hear a lot of things. But regardless of what we heard, you witnessed what you witnessed. Was it fair to have attacked innocent men, women, young and old in that fashion, wounding many of them, arresting them, it was not fair. You all witnessed that, and you please have to report that. Thank you very much.
Can I just add to that, please? I just want to add to that what you asked about the cooking.
Yeah, it is where it from.
Exactly. We were on the protest ground for hours talking to the police. There were several occasions when the police deputy director 102 came to us. He spoke to us. At points, you even saw it on live that when he spoke to Henry Costa, we were willing to work with the police. So if they had an issue with the cooking, they could have spoken to one of the leaders and we would have been more than happy, just as we had been happy to work with them and make sure the protest was peaceful. There was the whole cooking thing, there was no reason for them to use tear gas on us just because they believed that our people were cooking, when we have been making concessions just to ensure that the protest was peaceful.
Yes.
One second.
Yes, my name is Ben Hadid Kiawan and I report for Smart 95.
Hold on. You're from Smart? That's okay. I'll take some more.
My name is Mark Down. I report for Liberia Public Radio.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Costa and others, members of the COP, with the current situation at hand, what is your next course of action?
Who do you report for?
Liberia Public Radio.
Thank you, LPR, my friend Alfonso. What do? Because we don't trust the government, we're engaged with the international community. We've already spoken with them, and they tell us they're having a meeting tomorrow, and we will work with them to ensure that all of our people who have been arrested, in fact, we're sending lawyers to the police station tomorrow to have them released. I communicated with the Minister of Justice, Musa Dean, to send ambulance to the scene for our people who were wounded. He told me later on the ambulance arrived, but one of our people, one of them who was there wounded, refused to get in the ambulance. And I told him, I said, well, I can appreciate the man's apprehension. Why would he get in a government ambulance to be taken to a government-controlled medical facility? That brother was right. I would have done the same thing. But that sends a message to you that the people don't trust their government. It's a very dangerous thing. And the government needs to work to diffuse that kind of perception, which is legitimate. So yes, we will remain engaged with the international community. We believe we have been wronged, we the COP, and the international community would not stand for the violation of our rights. Earlier today, the resident coordinator of the United Nations went to our protest site. In fact, I took pictures with him. Mr. Leroy was the one who snapped the photos and posted them, and he was very impressed. You know, he met us, he thanked us for our peaceful conduct, and he walked around with his chief of security, and they left. He felt very pleased. I introduced him to the crowd, and they spoke to him in a very nice manner. He smiled, and he left. If he felt comfortable going in our crowd and leaving, and only to hear later that we were attacked, we believe that we've won the sympathy of the international community. So yes, we'll remain engaged with them. Let's take another question, please. Two more, and then we'll close up.
Just before that, when I got two more,
Yeah.
I just want to find out home, but you can't there's any.
He will speak.
Supplement.
Yeah, I'll come to him tomorrow.
He will speak tomorrow, but for now we will put it out.
KMTV.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him anyway.
No, I was.
He wants to reserve comments for now
Okay.
to speak tomorrow, because
Yeah, I think that your
we have to meet with our lawyer and do all kinds of stuff. So he will not say anything now
One short question.
for legal reasons.
My name is Emmanuel. I come from KMTV. Mr. Costa, does the COP return to the streets tomorrow?
We will meet tomorrow, have a meeting, and determine the next course of action. Our first concern or concerns right now are to ensure that our wounded are cared for, our arrested, wrongly arrested are released from jail, and our wrongly accused, Honorable Yeke Koluba, is vindicated, and then we will determine the next course of action. That is
Okay,
our
one more question.
one more.
One more question. Who do you report for? Okay. Better way.
Pepper way, I like that. Spray me, my brother. But don't be like the LMP.
Let's pray. Let's get best.
Let's see what come out here. Yeah. The poster on a person. What is the amity between you and Unity Party?
Oh, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Many of those who were there today were Unity Party people, people like Joseph Valai and tons of other people, Unity Party people. But you know what's important? They were Liberians. Look, ALP does not call partisans to protest. It calls on Liberian citizens. Liberian citizens. I mean the COP, of course. That's what I meant, right? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm from ALP, so I can't help it. But I meant to say COP does not call on partisans to protest. It calls on Liberian citizens. Those you saw there today, some of them were once diehard supporters of George Weah, now disgruntled, legitimately so disgruntled. Some of them are from various political parties, and some Liberians do not even belong to political parties. So our membership, our strength, our support base cuts across all political parties and across spectrum, including people who do not belong to political parties. Gentlemen, if there's a lady here, I want to say thank you very much for coming this very late evening to hear from us. We really appreciate this. Kindly, as I've said, report exactly what happened today. May God bless you all and continue to save our state. Thank you so much. Yeah.